approaching the end, I would really want you to keep on accompanying us, Lou, and she will be accompanying us up to go. I think very inspiring what you offer us also as moments afterwards to reflect. And I really want to thank you, Christine and Marie, for accepting to do this type of exercise. And I remember when we spoke, I saw that beautiful curiosity that both of you had, to be able to jump in a space where you hadn't been before, and I really appreciate very much your accepting and for what you have offered us. And democracy depends on the spaces we create for people. And we just wanted to have a little glimpse by putting a different type of furniture. We had the furniture from Kaaho. Now we have the furniture from the Institute.
I've heard before the sentence that the easy questions have already been answered and we're left with complex questions. So what a better place to have these complex questions and conversations than at Kaaho, in safe spaces to build trust and unity. So I invite to have these complex questions and bring their own perspective to the stage. Ms. Aisha Safi, who's the chairperson of Asia Women Leaders Forum. Ms. Talia Smith, Trust Building Program Manager on behalf of ISD International, a recipient of the 2026 Luxembourg Peace Prize. And Ms. Elizabeth Derry Warner, founder and former executive president of Geneva Con and director of the Geneva Convention's World Tour. And our moderator, who is known in our youth group as the embodiment of a human leader. So please join me in welcoming our three speakers and our moderator.
This is when you need a man, you know. Well, thank you very much for joining from Japan, from South Africa, even from Switzerland. From Switzerland, yes. And now this is to mark the importance that women are playing in democracy. Men are also. But today we really want to mark it from sector of economy, of trust building, and of humanitarian principles. And I would first like to invite you, Ms. Sasaki, to tell us a little bit more about the Asia Women Leaders Forum. And if you wish, you can speak from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Parker. It's a great honor to join the conversation here in Kaaho Forum, a place dedicated to dialogue, trust, and reconciliation. From my experience across Asia, I believe women strengthens democracy not only through institutions, but through human relationship. Can I start? Can I use that? Okay, thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. I'm Asia Women Leaders Forum. My name is Aisha Sasaki, founder and chairperson of the Asia Women Leaders Forum. AWLF is a platform that connects leaders across border, generation, and industry. Through dialogue, we empower women, nurture future leaders, and build a flourishing Asia. Women intangible value. Women create great value that often remain invisible. According to the United Nations, unpaid care work performed by women is worth approximately $3.8 trillion annually. According to McKinsey, advancing women economic participation could generate an additional 4.5 trillion US dollars annually across Asia-Pacific economies. These numbers remain as of one simple truth. Women's contributions are not only social, they are economic. Make the invisible visible. Sorry. And Mr. Parker asked me, what can the world learn from Asia? I believe the answer is compassion. Jihi, Japanese says jihi. Yes, compassion is more than kindness. It begins when we learn to understand our own suffering, and when we offer compassion to ourselves, we naturally extend it to others. We often care for others. Yeah? But do we offer the same compassion to ourselves? In many Asian countries, cooperation begins not with agreement, but with respect and compassion. And respect and compassion create trust. Dignity inspires compassion. Compassion leads dialogue. Dialogue builds trust. Trust leads cooperation. Cooperation builds peace and prosperity. I believe that. And Asia is very not simple, you know. So dialogue beyond the world. Through my work across Asia, I learned that dialogue is not always spoken. Sometimes dialogue is understanding without words. Sometimes silence itself can be compassion. True dialogue begins when soul, heart, and mind connect beyond words. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. We can hear a bit more from you in a moment. And Talia, you were coming back from Luxembourg, no? And Talia came back. Talia just came back from Luxembourg, and she came back with exactly the same thing we have on our Place des Nations, no? Could you try and explain what all this is about?
Thank you, Ignacio. Yes, I have. I've just returned from the Luxembourg Peace Prize ceremony, where Initiatives of Change was awarded the Outstanding Peace Organisation. So it's really... this award really is for the friends, colleagues, volunteers, past and present, that have dedicated some often their lives and great commitments to building peace and reconciliation around the world. So we were honoured to receive this, so it's a special recognition. And the chair for the Schengen Peace Foundation represents 3 legs, and the laureates and the winners of these peace awards brings the 4th leg of peace and stability. And that aligns really well with the broken chair in Geneva. And the 3 legs that are stable represent the hope and the resilience of the people affected by conflict. So there's greater similarities there.
Thank you very much, Talia. And on my Elizabeth, you're very well known. No? You've been a pioneer of many things here in Geneva, and with all this experience of defending humanitarian principles is really essential today. Can you tell us a little bit more?
In fact, a few days ago, Ignacio sent me the question, one of the questions of today, saying what is the link between democracy and the Geneva Convention, between democracy and humanitarian law? And I said to myself, strange question, because when you mention democracy, you think of peace. And when you mention the Geneva Convention, you think of war. So what is the link between the two? And after reflection, in fact, I could see a lot of similarities. And although they are not comparable, the Geneva Convention on humanitarian law and democracy are in fact two sisters, in that they both defend humanity. They have humanity at the heart of their priorities. And while they don't operate in the same spheres, they both embody human values, human dignity, protection, and respect. And in fact, they are based on the same principle. And why? Because the Geneva Convention places at the center human beings and are based on the protection of civilians, the protection of rights, in fact, in armed conflict. The right to civilians to be protected, the right to the wounded to receive medical care, the right to prisoners to be visited and so on. So they are based on the respect of rights. And democracy places its citizens at the heart of its priorities and is based on the respect of fundamental rights. So the key words here between the two is the respect of rights for both of them. And throughout my experience with armed groups, I have negotiating during 20 years with armed groups. I could observe that many of these armed groups took up weapons against the government because their rights were not respected. The right to speak their own language, the right to land, the right to defend their culture, the right to have their ethnic identity respected. So they took up the weapons against the government because their rights were not respected and because the state was failing to respect democracy. And I think that this is important to understand that many internal conflicts today arise from the denial of the rights of people. And too few governments understand this reality. In fact, I think conflict prevention begins with democracy. Conflict prevention begins with the respect of rights. And I would like just to conclude with a quote of Kofi Annan. He said, at the end of the day, sustainable peace and security, sustainable development, and the respect of rights and rules of law are important for healthy and democratic society. They are the three pillars of this kind of society. Unfortunately, too many states think they can have the first two, meaning peace and security and sustainable development, without respecting the third one, meaning human rights and rule of law. So this was important to understand that you cannot have these three pillars not together, and too many countries think they can have two first but not respecting the third one. Thank you.
I hope you read realize that there is a strong link between each of the speakers, between elements of principles, humanitarian principles, the trust building, and the business community. And Mrs. Sasaki convenes hundreds of business women. Yeah? Would you like to tell us also something that you're preparing for September? Yeah?
Yes.
If you want.
Yes. Like me, I'm progressing my organization a little bit. Yes, well, for the past 7 years, AWF has created space where leaders can meet across differences. In 2024, we held International Summit at United Nations ESCAP in Bangkok, bringing 140 leaders from more than 20 countries of Asia. Compassionate dialogue and shared purpose create deep connection and trust. Before speaking about the future, I would like to share a short video of AWF International Summit 2024. Our goal is not one summit. Our goal is a network of trust across Asia. Its force of peace. By 2030, we aim to connect 1,000 leaders. And our AWF 2030 vision, leadership create more leadership. If the 1,000 leaders gathered by 2030 each develop 100 future leaders, together we can empower 100,000 women leaders across Asia. This is our pay it forward model of transformative change. Women renew democracy. Women bring three strengths: connection, stewardship, nurturing. Connection, the ability to connect people across differences. Stewardship, the commitment to care for nurturing the ability to help others grow and thrive. Women know the value of life. We nurture life. We support life. And because we understand the value of life, we seek peace. Our dream is the AF becomes a force for peace, dialogue, and understanding. Because what we understand value, we can support. Together, let us connect, share our gift, and nurture the future. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
There are many extraordinary things with Mrs. Sasaki, but would you like to relieve one of your secrets? Secrets?
AI class.
Yes. This is the first time I'm on a panel with someone with AI glasses. Yes. And when I speak, Mrs. Sasaki has the words appearing in Japanese. Yeah. Yeah. So in Britain we used to say that India would always be ahead of us. Just think about Japan. And Talia, if you don't mind, I'll go to you at the end.
Yes.
Elizabeth, the civil society plays an important role in a lot which happens here in Geneva. But when we talk about the Geneva Conventions, what can civil society do to try and protect, or for these conventions to be applied?
It doesn't mean that if you have a democratic state that its conduct will be exemplary. And in such circumstances, this is the job of the judicial system to work on that, on this violation, or it can be also the civil society. And I think the pressure of the public society, public opinion, can really have an impact on states. I would like to give an example. The Ottawa Convention, striking example, and you have here a concrete manifestation of that. At that time, more than 25 years ago, all the states were opposed negotiating on the idea of banning anti-personnel mines. And a huge international campaign was launched, and after a few years, a treaty was elaborated and was signed, and today more than 160 countries have signed this convention banning anti-personnel mines. And as a recognition to this pressure of the public opinion, to this movement of the civil society, the international campaign to ban landmines was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1997. So it's a really great example of how civil society can really have an impact on the government. So it's not always easy. It's easier in a democratic country than in totalitarian states, for sure. But in this case, I think the public opinion of third countries can play a role in making pressure on the concerned government. So you mentioned the Geneva Convention, and I mentioned also in my first talk. Today, the first thing I would like to say, the Geneva Convention are the only conventions or treaties that are ratified by all the countries in the world. They are the only ratified by all the states in the world. So, and it is also a great example of multilateralism, because they were signed at the end of the second, and there were still many tensions, but still all the states agreed that humanity is the most important thing. Even if we disagree, even if we are in war, humanity is the most important thing, and they agreed to draft this Geneva Convention. Unfortunately, today they are not really well respected, and we can, when we watch the television every evening, we can see this violation everywhere in the world. And I think we have to place again this convention in front of the scene and to be sure that everybody understands how they are important. They are important for people in situations of armed conflict, for sure, because they are at risk of bombs and violence. But they are also important for us here, because if the journalists are killed, for instance, in Gaza, you will not receive information anymore. And so you will have only perhaps fake news. And so it is important to respect the life of journalists, as it is said in the Geneva Convention. So when the Hormuz is closed, it has an impact on also in our country, even if it is not as important as for the people in a really concerning situation of conflict, but we are also concerned. So this is why a new international campaign will be launched on the Geneva Convention to put them again in the street, not only discussed among law professors, but really in the street. And this is called the Geneva Convention World Tour. There will be a symbolic torch crossing all the countries in the world with the name of the Geneva Convention, inspired by the Olympic flame, in fact. And so these different steps will be done by students, by women organizations, by alumni of Kaaho initiative. So everybody can, carry the torch on a few kilometers, and just to have this torch crossing all the countries around the world. So hopefully it will start from Geneva this October or November. And I invite everybody, if you are interested to carry the torch, just to be a volunteer.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So really a big movement of people from civil society, from all sectors to, and it's not the Geneva which is important, it's of course the content in these conventions. And I'd like to finish with Talia. We still have a few more minutes before we close. This is around trust building. All your work for the last decade or more has been around trust building. How are you keeping hope when we see all the betrayals that we are seeing?
Good question. Unexpected, Ignacio.
What was the question I was supposed to ask you?
That's fine. Yeah, around hope, and that was asked earlier by our two friends on stage. For me, it's definitely young people, and I think we heard from 10 of them today with really inspiring testimonies, so thank you for sharing that. Young people give me great hope, and it's also civil society. I think the small grassroots initiatives that just make ripples and make the butterfly effect really real, and I think that's where the magic of social change happens, with young people and through society. So that really gives me hope, and we see that through the IFC International's trust building program, working in different countries around the world in very grassroots ways of just bringing social change to communities that have been in conflict. So they also give me great hope.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the three of you from different strands or sectors that representing the millions of women who are playing a key role in democracy. Thank you very much. So, Sidra, how have we been doing on time? have to jump some of the wrap-ups that we had planned and go directly to what?
So we would like to thank you all for joining us today. We'd like to thank our speakers, our participants, our sponsors, and our moderators.
And there is a special thanks for all the young people who are with us. And from the program that started in Geneva a few days ago, we'll be moving to Kaaho. So you want me to go on? We're still going to hear from Lou, eh? We're not going to let Lou disappear. In a moment, she'll be playing a little bit for us to help the transition that we're going to have. But we give the information of what is this transition right now, and then we'll listen to Lou, and then I guess we'll give a big row of applause. But there's something absolutely crucial for those who want to go to Kaaho. There are buses out there. You missed the bus, you're in trouble. And we would encourage people who are going to Kaaho to take their suitcases and go directly to the bus. For those, you can hang around for a bit longer. There's some drinks upstairs. No, there's just some water and some stale biscuits and so on. Once all these guys have gone to Kaaho, we can stay around. Anything else?
Just if you get lost, follow Ignacia's shoes.
What was the
They would like to.
Thank you. Don't worry, we still stay seated because we still have Lou to bring us really in.